So I'm out here on this busy street corner to tell you a story about a theater that has undergone a tremendous evolution. And so over here on my left is the Walton Arts Center, and there the community and company of TheatreSquared met for 14 years making unique productions and adaptations that were made for the community in which they lived in of Fayetteville, Arkansas. And now over here on my right, for just over a year, this brand new facility has been created and they've been meeting there. And so I wanted to show you this new facility in all of its glory and some of the unique features that are a part of it. So follow me on this 360 journey. Now you can hear the train behind me and we'll get back to the significance of that in a second. But right now I want to talk about this expansive wall of board-formed concrete. And if you're wondering what board-formed concrete is it's a lot like what it sounds. They take a board and they lay it up, they fill it up with concrete, and in this case they use boards that were soda blasted to bring out the definition. And as you can tell, it brings out this definition and literally makes it look like it's wood. And I think that's one of the amazing parts of what this building really shows is the way to use something that's usually seen as very cold. You know, concrete is a very cold material, but they take that and they make it have this warm feeling and this connection to the people that come up to it. So let's go take a look inside and see what the interior looks like. So one thing you notice when you walk into the commons area is that it's incredibly inviting. You have these big windows, you have this upper story connected with an amazing staircase. All of these elements together are showing you that it's pulling people in from the outside, from the community, from the sidewalk, as opposed to a typical theater where they would be pushing you into the theater, pushing you back out, no lobby, very cold. And that was by design. They wanted this to be not only a place where people are ushered into the theater, and the theater is the main thing and the main reason you come here, but it also is in and of itself a reason to come here, to commune with the actors, to collaborate, to just be a part of the community itself. And so I think that's a really cool part of this design and something that was thought out and planned from the very beginning. And so let's take a look at one of my favorite areas and obviously the major component of TheatreSquared, and that is the main theater, West Theater. So as we walk out over there, one thing that I want to point out is the train from earlier. And when we were outside and you heard that train, how loud it was, well, that was certainly something that was a distraction in the former theater, and something that they did not want to be a distraction in the new theater. And so when we come in, notice how quiet it is. This, though, you have to see. And take a look at this theater. I mean, you walk in and it's easy to just be instantly in awe of everything that you see. I mean, not only do you have this sprawling 3-story area, you have this charred siding on the outside. So this is actually a charred wood siding. They use the process called shasugiban, and you can see those clean lines, those perfect seams. And one of the things that I noticed first is how quiet it is. And so you remember all that road noise, the train, all of that was taken into consideration when they were building this space. And so everything that they did, from the way that they poured the concrete, they made sure there was gaps so that as they poured it, you wouldn't be able to have any vibrations between the steel and the concrete, so they're completely separated. As well, they had 24 inches of concrete, followed by a insulation, followed by more insulation, followed by more concrete. All of that so that they would never have to hear that train ever again. And the other cool thing about this is, as I stand here on this stage, you can see that this is, although very epic and very grand feeling, also a very intimate theater. I mean, if you look, there's not very many rows back. In fact, if you took their old theater and you placed the layout on this new theater, they would be almost identical up to a couple of rows that they added towards the back. And the uniqueness of this wide theater with the intimacy of having rows that are very close, it allows them to set the acoustics in this area so that you can hear anybody standing on stage who's talking at a normal speaking level, hear them perfectly, whether you're in the very back or very front row, whether you're up there in the second row of seats, which they call the circle, as it just hugs the outside area. And the actors can have a real connection with your audience. And I think that's just an incredible piece of what they did here in their main theater and main auditorium. So let's go out and check out a few other cool features. So this is the Spring Theater. And the Spring Theater is a smaller theater off adjacent from the Commons behind that bar area that you saw. And it's set up currently for a play that they are currently live streaming, which is called Anne. And this play is about Anne Richards. And the thing that I like about this particular room is that it has this beautiful black wood behind you. Well, this is not charred. In fact, this wood is what was used for the board form concrete. So you see the board form concrete here. And what they did was they took those boards down and they cleaned them off and repurposed them, painted them so that they could be used in this area of the theater. And I think that just shows the intention of sustainability and trying to reuse as much as they could in this theater to not only be economical, but also to show really the idea behind theater is that you're producing things, you're creating things, and then you're remaking them and you're reusing them in various different ways, just like props and costumes and sets like this. And so I think that just shows the heart behind the theater itself, and I think it shows in some other areas as well. So let's keep moving on with the tour. So this is another cool area. This is the staircase leading up to the second story of the Commons. And this was actually designed to be a mini amphitheater in and of itself. And so you have this area here with the seating that runs along the staircase. And so you can have people sitting here. You can set up a little live performance. It could be a poetry reading. It could be a small live band. And again, it's just showing that connection that you have in this Commons area, bringing people in, making them want to stay, making them want to converse and have a conversation. And as you lead up to the second story, not only do you see these chairs, bars, more areas to hang out and connect, but one of my favorite areas is out here on this second story balcony. So let's go take a look at that. So as I come out here, you'll begin to understand why this is one of my favorite areas of this whole building. It's because when you're out here, you just feel this connection to the community again. You're out and you get to see the fall foliage changing. It's just gonna be breathtakingly beautiful in a couple of weeks. And at the same time, you can just sit out here, have a cup of coffee, have a drink after a show, and you get to just experience the theater in just a new and exciting way. You have the University of Arkansas that is right over there, just across the street. And it's just a very, very cool experience. And not only that, but you get to see this Shausugiban sighting up close and personal. And so this is actually a charred Kebony modified wood siding. So this is Kebony that they've charred to what they call a gatered char. So it has this sort of charcoal look to it. This is done by a company called Delta Millworks. And what they've done is they put this on the bottom and then wrapped it up above the building. And so just a really, really cool area. And it really, I think, just shows how much detail and attention to detail went into picking the perfect materials for this area. And from the board form concrete to the Shausugiban siding, they really wanted to make sure that this is something that was special. And with this char on it, it's going to last for decades to come. So very cool. Now let's go across the Commons to another very cool sustainable piece of this theater. So right now we are across from that second story balcony, and we're in a room that they call the community room. And I think one thing that is a testament again to that sustainability that TheatreSquared tried to incorporate in every aspect of their design is this table itself. In fact, this table used to be a tree that was standing amidst the parking lot that used to be on this property. And so when they decided to build here, they took the tree down and they kept it, milled it into this table, and they milled the furniture that's around this entire area out of trees that came from this parking lot and from the area surrounding it. And so I think that's, again, just a very cool aspect of this building and the thought that went into making sure that this was a place that felt truly sustainable, from the Shaosugiban to the boards from the board formed concrete and from this table as well. So let's go up to the third floor where we can see more of that and get a sense of what rehearsals are like. So we're up here in the rehearsal room, and this is on the third floor. It's right above the commons, and it's that cube that's right on the corner wrapped in Shaosugiban. And what's cool about this rehearsal room is, first of all, it mimics the size of the West Theater stage. So any rehearsals going on here where they're practicing particular cues and particular stopping points, they can know that they're going to translate correctly to the stage downstairs, which is something that is hugely helpful for the actors. The other thing that's very cool about this is you see the board formed concrete boards are used again up here, this time painted white, cleaned off again, and I think it's just another great opportunity for them to use sustainable materials. But I think one of the coolest parts of this room is right behind you, where you get to see this amazing bay window. And in that bay window, the actors, as they're acting, as they're able to rehearse and practice, they can look out and they can still be a part of the community. And a lot of times that's not the case in a rehearsal room. Usually it's tucked away. It's something that you don't want to see out in the open, but here they've taken a different approach. And even as you go out to this terrace, you see that this is a connection to the public as well. So the public can come out here and they can be out here watching rehearsals as they're going on. The actors can come out here and they can mingle with the public. And it just shows again how important it is for this theater to be connected to the community. Not only in the performances, not only in the rehearsals, but in the space itself. You know, there's something that's tangible about the materials that are used that you can touch, you can feel, you can really get a sense of how important the theater is to not only the people that work here and act here, but also to the community as a whole. And my hope is that in seeing this tour, you can get a sense of that as well, in the materials used, in the design that was implemented, and in the people that you'll see performing. So I encourage you to go check out theater2.org and take a look at TheatreSquared. And if you want to see more 360 tours or other videos, you can also go to designversusbuild.com. I'm Ben Roberts, and thank you for watching.